everybody. Here, if you read here the video, I mostly read Horrid Henry and the Secret Club. And here's Trump 2. Halt! Who goes there? Me? Who's me? Said Moody Margaret. Me, said Sore Susan. What's the password? Sorry, Susan. Pause. What about the password? She thought and thought potatoes. Margaret signed loudly. Hold on. Her friend and with such a stupid person. No, it isn't. Yes, it is, said Susan. Potato house was last week. Password, said Margaret. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was, said Moody Margaret. It's my club and I decide. There was a long pause. All right, said Susan sourly. What is the password? I don't know if I'm going to tell you, said Moody Margaret. I could be giving away a big secret, but the enemy. But I am not the enemy, said Susan. I'm Susan, shh, said Margaret. We don't want Henry to find out who's in the secret club. Susan and looking quickly over her shoulder. The enemy was now nowhere to be seen. She whistled twice. All clear, said sour Susan. Now let me in. Moody Margaret thought for a moment. Letting someone in without the password breaks the first club rule. Prove to me you're Susan, and not an enemy pretending to be Susan, said Margaret. You know it's me, wailed Susan. Prove it. Susan stuck her foot into her tent. I'm wearing a black patent leather shoes with a blue flowers and always wear no good. No good, said Moody Margaret. The enemy could have stolen them. I'm speaking with Susan's voice. And I look like Susan, said Susan. No good, said Margaret. The enemy would be the master of disguise. Susan stamps her foot. And I know what you are the one, pished Helen. I'm going to tell Miss. Come closer to the tent, and said Margaret. Susan and bent over. Now listen to me, said Margaret, because I'm going to tell you once when the secret club member wants anyone inside, answer back, Nunga knew. Oh, that's how I knew. Oh, if you know me, Nunga, said Sir Susan. Nunga knew, said Moody Margaret. Enter. Susan and entered the club she gave. The secret handshake. handshake sat down on here. Box soaked. Hold on, guys, I'm back. I could, oh, it was me all along, said Susan. Margaret scowled at her. That's not the point. If you don't want to obey the club rules, you can't leave. You can leave. Susan didn't move. Oh, can I have a biscuit? She said. Margaret smiled graciously. Have it too, she said. And then, well, I'll get down to business. Meanwhile, hidden under the bush behind some strangely placed branches, another top of secret meeting and was talking in place next door or garden. I think that's everything, said the leader. I'll now put the plans into action. What am I going to do? Said Perfect Peter. Stand guard, said Horrid Henry. I'll always have to stand guard, said Peter, as the leader kept out. It's not fair. Have you bought your spy report? Asked moody Margaret. Yes, said Susan. Read it aloud, said Margaret. Susan took out the piece of paper. Read. I watched the enemy house for 2 hours yesterday morning. Which morning? Interrupted Margaret. Saturday morning, said Susan. A lady here with the gray hair and a beret. It walked past. What color is the beret? Said Margaret. I don't know, said Susan. Call yourself a spy, and you don't know the color of a beret was? Said Margaret. Can I please continue with my report? Said Susan. I'm not stopping you, said Margaret. Then I saw the enemy leave the house with his brother and mother. The enemy kicked his brother twice. His mother shouted at him. Then I saw the postman, Nanga, screech a voice from outside. Margaret and Susan froze. Nanga. Screeched the voice again. I know you are there. Ah, squeaked Susan. It's Henry, squeaked Hyde, his moody Margaret. Alright. It's secret spies crouching behind two boxes. It told him our password. His moody Margaret. How dare you? Was it me? His Susan. I couldn't even remember it. So how could I have told him? You told him, didn't? Hissed Margaret. Nunga, screeched Henry. again. You have to let me in. I know the password. What do we do? Hissed Susan. And you said anyone on who knows the password enters. For the last time. Nanga! Shouted horrid Henry. Nanga none, said Margaret. Enter. Henry swaggered into the tent. Margaret glared at him. Don't mind if I do, said Henry, grabbing all the chocolate biscuits and stuffing them into his mouth. Then he sprawled all on a rug, scattering crumbs everywhere. What are you doing? Said horrid Henry. Nothing, said moody Margaret. Nothing, said sorry Susan. You are too, said Henry. Mind your own business, said Margaret. Now, Susan, let's vote on whether her to allow boys in. I vote no. I vote no. Oh, too, said Susan. Sorry, Henry. I can't join. Now leave. No, said Henry. Leave, said Margaret. Make me, said Henry. Yeah, Margaret took a deep breath and she opened her mouth and screamed, as loud or as long or as precisely as moody Margaret. After a few moments, Susan started screaming too. Henry got out with his feet, knocking over the cot. They used to use as a table. Oh, watch out, said Henry, because the purple hand will be back. He turned to go. Moody Margaret had sprung up behind him and pushed him out to flap. Henry landed with his hips. Can't get me, shouted Henry. He picked himself up and jumped over the wall. Oh, the purple hand, it's the best. Oh yeah? Uttered Margaret. Well, I'll see about that, Henry. Check out his shoulder. To make sure no one's watching. Then, and he crept back up to his fort, smelly toad. He whispered to the guard, or the branches part Henry. Climb in. Did you attack them? Said Peter. Of course, said Henry. Did you hear Margaret screaming? I was the one who heard their password, so I think